Imagine your future self writing your current self a letter of all of your successes, all of your ahas, all of the incredible milestones that you've made, and then visit that all the time. Doesn't that make you want to be in your future?
Hello, prosperity seeker, and welcome to another episode of the Prosperity Approach. I'm your host, Allyson Chavez, and as always, I feel so honored and so grateful that you're spending your time here with me on this podcast. And I know you are going to love this episode because I have a very, very special guest today, and we're going to be talking all about epic vision. But before we dive into that, just a couple of quick reminders. If you're listening to the audio version of this episode, make sure you're following the podcast on your favorite app. And if you're watching this on YouTube right now, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you're always in the loop every time we release another episode. So we are talking epic vision today. Like, what is it? How do you tap into it? Why is it so important? And so, of course, I have to have an expert on that. So let me introduce you to the amazing Jane Applegath. Jane is a serial entrepreneur, creative intelligence coach, certified VUCA instructor, and founder of the Epic Vision Zone. She serves passion-driven women who are ready to create radical self-empowerment to become the bringers of big ideas, influence, inspiration, and change. Jane's commitment is to end the disempowering beliefs that it's too late, too hard, too pie in the sky for women to prosper and matter doing work they love. She knows that having more, being more, feeling more, and creating more exist for every woman when she learns to feel and access the vision of her dream and make it her new reality. A former award-winning financial advisor, television producer, creative scriptwriter, and yoga instructor, Jane knows firsthand the power of reimagining possibility using the magnificence of your genius, and she's here to teach you how it's done. Oh my gosh, Jane, welcome.
Well, my gosh, thank you, Allyson. What an intro. I mean, I know that I do the same, that I introduce individuals, and I'm like, wow, thank you so much for that introduction.
Well, do you know what? I'm like, this is so perfectly matched. I was on your podcast a while ago, and I fell in love with you, and I'm like, I know my audience is going to fall in love with you as well. So I'm so honored to have you on this episode. I'm reading this, and I'm like, dang, I forgot she's such a big deal. Wow, she's such a big deal. But you're so down to earth. You're so grounded. You're so wonderful. So I know we're going to have just an amazing conversation today. So thanks for being with me.
Well, thank you. I am honored and grateful to know you. So yes, we thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to get started.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about epic vision and why do you need an epic vision?
Well, here's the thing. An epic vision is really a reflection of your heart's desire. A lot of individuals, I myself, back in the day when I was in the financial industry, would often get stuck if someone asked me, vision, boy, that's a big question. You know, we get stuck in our thinking mind. And really what vision does for us as individuals, it ignites our energy to reach for what we desire in our hearts, what we're here for. It's having a vision inspires us to manifest our dreams and to gain focus and the drive to create the action to make those dreams come true. Think of it as a roadmap. If you were to go on a trip and say you wanted to explore certain areas, but you had no roadmap, you would be lost. Well, your vision is your roadmap. But more than that, Allyson, because we're here and I know your work and I love your work and I believe in it, I like to say that the vision ignites the frequency to connect with the universe to help you manifest those dreams. Because you want to feel into your future. It's not just a matter of writing it down. It's a matter of putting yourself in that future position, and that will connect you with the frequency of your future. And it just gives me chills because it really, when you close your eyes and you believe in what you're imagining, it ignites you, and you can see how that'll propel you into action. So every day or every evening, whatever it might be, you could just close your eyes and put yourself into that future vision. And what I say to individuals, in order to provide yourself with a purpose and direction, which is what this does, is imagine your future self writing your current self a letter of all of your successes, all of your ahas, all of the incredible milestones that you've made, and then visit that all the time. Doesn't that make you want to be in your future?
Do you know what? I love that you said that. You actually answered a question before I was even able to ask it, which is like, I remember years and years ago when I was first introduced to like visioning and vibration and frequency and all the things, when they're like, well, you got to feel it, you got to see it. So I would close my eyes and I'm like, I see nothing. And I got to drum up some sort of emotion. I don't get that. And then my brain would start being like, well, this is too hard. And this is way beyond you, like pie in the sky, like we were talking about. But I love that idea, if as your future self writing a letter, because then you're done with all the hows. Like, here's what it looks like, and here's what it is. And that is so beautiful. I talk to so many people that are like, I don't know how to visualize. It's so hard. And how do I ignite that feeling and that vibration? And yeah, that's how you do it.
That's how you do it. And you want to use a pen and paper. Don't do it on the computer, because there is a connection between writing and the brain. It's a cognitive connection between writing it or journaling it, as opposed to doing it on your computer. So I just always say, get a pen and paper, pretend you're your future self, and you're writing a congratulations to all of your successes, everything you've learned, the people you've connected with. And I don't care how crazy it sounds or how wild, that makes it even better, because that's the feeling that you want to ignite. That's the frequency. You are a broadcast tower. Mm-hmm. So when you do that, and you can do it several times or revisit it, but when you do that, you are starting to build yourself that roadmap, and it will propel you into action. That's why an epic vision is so important.
You know, you just said that for me, like write it down, don't put it on your computer, because I type so much faster than I write. But I appreciate you like reminding me, no, pen to paper connects heart and head. And it actually makes so many more neural connections than typing it out. So we get to old school it in this really fast world, which is really, really good for us. So
exactly.
So thank you. Yes. Thank you for that. So here's a question. Like you are like such a vibrant woman, and you're also super, super smart as well. So I want to talk for just a second about the science behind the power of visualization. Will you speak into that for a minute?
Yes, absolutely. So this is what we've learned now, that we have so much information about how our minds and our brains work. So manifestation essentially means to bring something tangible into your life through attraction and a belief system. So through adapting your mindset and behaviors, which is what you do when you're visualizing, it means that you're bringing not only your dreams, but your goals. And what it does is it starts to make those neural connections in the brain. So, for example, when we visualize something, we can often feel some fear, because we'll say, well, that is just ridiculous, or we'll say, I can't do that. That's just not who I am. But what you're doing in visualizing is you're building those neural connections to solidify the confidence, to solidify the feelings. The feelings come after a thought, and therefore the action, to bring that into reality. Not only that, when you're in alignment, your belief system starts to really click. Think of it as like a puzzle, or the Rubik's cubes. Mm-hmm. It starts to click itself into position so that you actually believe that you can do it. So it's really a very scientific fact. Here's something that they've proven, and words are very important when you're doing this work. There is a very famous scientist. His name is Emoto. I believe many people have heard of him. What he did, to give you an idea of the power of words and how our bodies and our energy work on a scientific level, is he took a jar of white rice, and then he did 2 jars of white rice. And on the one jar, he wrote the word thank you. And on the other jar, he wrote the word you fool. And people would come into the classroom. It was in a class environment, and they would repeat the words to the jars every day for a number of days. The jar where people said thank you remained white and fluffy. The jar that they were saying you fool to got mushy and black and gelatinous. So just think of that. That is our bodies, our energy, what the potential we have in our own bodies are doing to these actual jars of rice. So that is on a scientific level, looking at, what is happening in our energy field, what is happening with the words we use. So yes, the science has proven that, the more we practice, the more we will become possible. The possibilities are endless, basically.
Yes. And it actually makes it a lot easier. Even now today, sometimes it's hard for me to be like, okay, I'm going to go to the future. Like, it's hard for me to slow my brain down sometimes. But when I tell myself, we're actually going to work on some more neural connections, we're going to work on some more neural pathways. I don't know what it is, but just like phrasing it that way, it was like, okay, yeah, I think it's because it gave my conscious mind something, quote, logical to focus on for a minute, instead of like, suspend your disbelief here for a minute, we're going to go to the subconscious. But it was just like, oh, actually, we're doing some brain entrainment here, and this is what it's going to look like. And then it stopped the conflict. It would stop the conflict, because my conscious mind would be like, this is such a waste of time. This is so dumb. This is nothing's going to. That's
the logic.
Yes.
Logic does not, there's no place for logic in your vision, in your visualization.
Thank you.
There's no place for logic, because that robs you then of the imagination. Here's the thing, when you visualize, you are priming your brain for success. It increases your state of flow as well, because you're focusing. Everything to do with flow is about a focus. And so when you think of that, the more focused you become, the more you are in flow. So it primes the brain for success. It increases your state of flow, and all of your achievements start to come together. They click.
Oh, man, I love it. I love it so much. So you say that there's steps to creating a prosperity statement. I would love to hear what your steps are.
Yes, well, thank you. That's a great question. First and foremost, I ask people to take a deep breath and just come into the moment, because having been in a business that is very linear, which is the financial industry, and film, which is creative, and then yoga, which is spiritual, I understand when you get asked certain people that a question, they'll go right to the linear, the analytical brain. So I always say, I want you to relax and just be present. And I begin to ask questions to help them imagine. So some of the questions that I ask them to list 3 things they love to do. Then I say, what do you do with the utmost confidence? And if you could make a difference in the world, what would you do? I'm inviting you to imagine. I'm not inviting you to burn brain cells. I'm inviting you into flow. Then I say, if you were on the cover of Success magazine, what would the title read? What makes you feel joyful? And name 3 qualities you admire most in yourself. So that's the prep. I don't go into what are your core values, but because I know values are very important. But from these questions, we will find your values. So I'm inviting you to feel into it as opposed to go right to the brain work. And then what I say is, let's begin to build your roadmap. We want clarity. The clarity builds your roadmap. So when you take those questions and you say, reflect on them, and it's what you truly want in life. So some of those questions help you determine what you truly want by answering them. And there'll be others as well. Mm-hmm. But so the clarity will help us take you into what your heart's desire is. Because a lot of us have never been asked that question. And think about it. I know when I was asked, I was like, well, my gosh, I don't know. I've never had time to think about it. I've been too busy working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's true. A lot of people just get stuck. And I feel for them because I have been stuck several times. Look at all the pivots I've made. But so clarity and finding out your true heart's desire. And I make it in a way that we can just flow with it. And then we want to visualize your desires. So imagine yourself already in that place. So what is it that makes your heart sing? What is it that makes time fly? Visualize yourself in there. And I don't mean it doesn't necessarily have to be at this level, some work kind of visualization. Maybe I loved chasing butterflies when I was young. So I was like, wow, I love this. I love the feeling. I want to ignite the feeling that makes you feel that energy. That's what I'm doing with this. I want everyone to start raising their antennas and start to emote the excitement, start to emote the passion. So clarity and then visualization. And like I say, I don't care how crazy it might seem to you. I just want you to get into that state of flow. And then I say practice gratitude, because the gratitude gives us it helps us to cultivate a positive attitude and a positive mindset. So if you're visualizing this, feel grateful for it, because that it actually helps the mind come into a state of not only flow, but real relaxation. Because when you're grateful, you're actually pulling it to you. You're imagining that it's already happened. So that's the gratefulness. And then you take inspired action, and that comes down the road. So then we take micro steps. We don't want to do this, eat the elephant in one gulp, as they might say. Mm-hmm. This is all about micro stepping through the actions. But that's basically the steps that we go through. And of course, there's a lot more involved. I help individuals write their vision statement, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But my whole intention is to approach it with grace and to approach it with excitement. It's not to force it upon you, because let's face it, so many people are doing that. And I see where people close down, including myself.
Yeah. And what a beautiful way that you have to get people into flow by talking about things at the very beginning that are like, this doesn't really have anything to do with what my big vision is supposed to be, but like, okay. So I love the way that you approach that. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's outside the box. But that's what we need to do these days, is be outside the box. Because as you and I said in our opening conversation before we put the tape on, is that this is the future. We have to step outside of our boxes. Mm-hmm. We have to conceptualize and think of how we can best bring our visions to light, given that AI is going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us. But that gives us more space to be creative.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So in your bio, you are a certified VUCA instructor. And I don't know what VUCA is. Will you tell us about that?
Yes, absolutely. This is so exciting. This is groundbreaking. It's VUCA. We pronounce it VUCA, and it's
okay.
VUCA. And actually, it's a little known military strategy that the Navy SEALs have used for years, but we've flipped the script on it. So it encompasses everything that people would actually have to address in an adrenaline upside down world. If you think of a Navy SEAL, they go into situations that are very stressed, very, unknown. And given the climate in our current environment, and I think it's going to be the future, because things are unpredictable. And I don't believe that we will now be in a world that is predictable. So we have to learn how to accommodate ourselves and program ourselves, for lack of a better word, to cultivate prosperity and growth and thrive in a world that is unpredictable. Now, that's very unhuman of us because we like predictability.
Yes.
Our reptilian brains like things that don't change. So this is why when we do something different, the fear ignites, because the brain is telling us that, wait a minute, that's different. That's going to get us in trouble. We're going to go in survival mode.
Yeah.
But so VUCA, we have flipped the script to mean vision, understanding, clarity, and adaptability. And each one of those steps is gone through using neuroscience, mindfulness, and quantum physics, along with the work that they use in the Navy SEALs to adapt themselves to unpredictability. It is an incredible program, and I'm so honored to be part of it. It is fairly new. It has a feature-length film that goes with it. So everyone is, if they're interested, they can contact you, and I'm more than happy to share the film with them. And from that, we take parts of the film and the learning of neuroscience and mindfulness and all of this military information and put it into a program that is beyond. There is so much information, groundbreaking information in it. They're dealing with futurists around the world. And it's fascinating.
It sounds
Allyson,
fascinating.
it is fascinating. I'll have to share some of it with you so that you can see it. Yeah, it's really fascinating.
Yeah. Is there a website, or is there a place on your website where people could go and get some information?
Yes, there will be. Yes, okay. I will have that there, that they can go and check it out for sure. And I'm happy to share, like I said, you can pull up the trailer for the movie just by going VUCA Max trailer. So you're welcome to look at the trailer. And the film is available to watch through Amazon for a very nominal price. I think it's $9.99 or something of that nature. So you can actually watch the film on Amazon, and it's I believe it's under VUCA Max. Yeah.
MAX, VUCA Max, MAX.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it. And we'll put the links in here as well. Yes. So people can just click on those links and go right where they want to go. So
yeah, so it's right up our alley.
Yes. Yes. I'm like, oh my goodness, I think I know what I'm doing tonight. Yeah. So this podcast is called The Prosperity Approach. I have a very specific theory about prosperity in a very specific way about how you create prosperity in your life. But I would love to hear what is the link between mindset and prosperity via Jane Applegath.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that question, because yeah, there is a link between prosperity and mindset, and everything begins with what you believe in. Everything begins with what you believe in. So if you believe that things are possible, it's like the glass half full, the glass half empty. Perception, what you perceive, you will receive. I'll say that again. What you perceive, you will receive. So your beliefs are the foundations of our thoughts, and the thoughts are the actions or the feelings of which we are motivated to take action. So prosperity, I view it as our destiny. I believe every human being has the opportunity and the possibility to thrive. So if you believe in what you are here to achieve, I always say we are here to enroll people in their future. It's not a sales call. It's a service. Mm-hmm. And mindset is everything to do with prosperity, because if your mind is not connected with what you believe in, or if you don't believe in anything, or if you have negative beliefs, then you're not going to prosper in the way that you were meant to prosper while you're here. Everything has to do with the mindset and the way you believe and the way you perceive. So it really is a big difference. It makes a huge difference in your life. And that's the connection that I see between mindset and prosperity.
Absolutely. They're inextricably connected.
Yes.
Absolutely. They're entangled with each other. Because, and
Yeah.
we see evidence. I saw evidence in my own life, and I really didn't have a prosperity mindset. I was very optimistic. I was very positive, but I was always feeling broke and poor and and I would have a dream, and there was always something in my mind that was like, nah, you're not going to get that. But I'm really ambitious. So I would go for it, and I would almost get it. I would almost get it. Some of them I would, the real big ones, I wouldn't. So I absolutely agree with that, they are so intertwined, mindset.
Well, yeah. And it's interesting because it's the emotions, right? You
Yeah.
were saying that you were ambitious and you worked hard, and you can muscle your way into that. But if we go back to the energy and the broadcast, what your emotions are emitting, which is come from your thoughts, which comes from your mindset. So working backwards, if your emotions, if that frequency is off, yet you're working really hard and you're ambitious, you will be successful, but you're muscling your way into it. Wouldn't it be nice if you moved into prosperity with grace, with flow? That's what the mindset will do for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you continue to muscle and push and push and push, like that success and prosperity comes at such a high cost that it's not worth it. And I've experienced both. You probably have as well.
Yep. It's exhausting.
It is.
That's what I was doing in the brokerage business. And that's why I left the brokerage business. I was I was very successful, made lots of money. And everybody was like, why are you leaving? What's the matter with you? Because it was all about the money. Yeah. And I'm like, this just isn't resonating with me. Yeah. I'm making myself sick, so actually, that's a good point too. I'm glad we just talked about that, because if you feel that way with what you're doing in your life, take a pause and just reflect on what's happening in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh, Jane, this has been such juicy, delicious, yummy conversation. Thank you so much for being here. I know people are going to want to know how they can find you. So let us know, where can people find you? I know you have a really cool gift for us all. So tell us about that too, if you will.
Yes. Thank you, Allyson. I am very active on Instagram. So at Jane Applegath. And my website, janeapplegath.com. You can also see our incredible interviews, and one with Allyson as well, at the Epic Vision Zone. That is available on all streaming podcasts and YouTube. So check it out. And also too, like Allyson says, don't forget to subscribe. And I am going to have a wonderful gift for you, which is the Prosperity Vision Blueprint. And that will be available. It's free. And I encourage everyone to sign up. It will walk you through the steps, some of them of which we spoke about. And I would love to hear from you.
Oh my goodness. And all of those links are in the show notes. So make sure that you click on those and get yourself that vision blueprint. That sounds so amazing. So amazing. So Jane, thank you so much. Again, it's such an honor to have you on the podcast. And I love what you're up to in the work, in the world, and what you're doing. And you have blessed my life so much today. I know that others' lives have been blessed as well. So thank you again for being.
Thank you so much, Allyson. I appreciate you. And it's my pleasure.
Wonderful. And for those of you watching or listening, I thank you. And remember, prosperity becomes you. Bye-bye.